Man, it's the 10 a.m. time slot video here on LEGO Rocks 99, and we are straight up making a Maple Leafs, San Jose Sharks, Vancouver Canucks retrospective by proxy type of video, because man oh man, have the rumors regarding the top two draft picks in this year's 2026 NHL Draft, they've been starting to go crazy. And between Gavin, McKenna, Ivar Stenberg, Chase Reed, Carson Carels, and others, we have so many things to talk about when it comes to these names, and we're going to try our best to summarize a lot of the main talking points here in this video. So, with the NHL Draft Combine coming and going, we have ourselves some rumors, you might say, as to how everything is feeling at this point. This is what Scott Wheeler of The Athletic went out there and posted. He said, "I already reported on the dinners the San Jose Sharks had with Carson Carels and Chase Reed this week, but they also had dinner with Keaton Verhoff and Ivar Stenberg in Buffalo. Their direction at number 2 has been the trickiest for teams to pin down." Now, let's just look at the tail of the tape. Carson Carels, left-handed D. Chase Reed, right-handed D. Keaton Verhoff, right-handed D. And Ivar Stenberg, the top winger from Sweden. Quite the interesting set of guys, and of course, I'm not going to say that the Sharks taking these guys out for dinner and not taking this guy out for dinner, it's not going to guarantee anything. In fact, the Sharks can go out there and take some random dude for all I care. They take Viggo Bjork second overall and everybody freaks out. The dinners don't necessarily mean much, but they do give us some sort of a direction as to where these teams might be placing their emphasis in scouting. So, when you think about some of these replies, it's a smokescreen, it'll be Stenberg, they'll take Ivar Stenberg, if they go for a D, they'll trade down. Whether or not that actually happens, who knows? We will not find out until the actual draft day itself, right? But speaking about San Jose, I wanted to go over to this rumor that was posted about and talked about by Sheng Peng, who does stuff for San Jose Hockey Now. He says the vibes he is picking up, talking to people at the NHL Draft Combine, is that San Jose's second overall pick will be Reed or Carels. He said it's not 100% going to happen, but those are the vibes he is getting from reading the tea leaves. Sheng says he would personally be surprised if the pick is Ivar Stenberg, but he did say a lot can change from now until draft day, and these are just the vibes he is getting. Now, I don't want to offend San Jose Sharks fans, right? But the Sharks don't really have the same quantity of beat reporters and people that are around the team, making articles, going on radio, and all this stuff talking about San Jose Sharks hockey, at least when you compare it to the zeitgeist of hockey status quo Canadian team standards that you have over here. But with that said, Sheng Peng is one of the few San Jose Sharks reporters that I'm actually familiar with and I've seen his work before. So for him to go out there and say that it's going to be Reed or Carels, again, right-handed defenseman and Chase Reed, left-handed defenseman and Carson Carels, two guys that the Sharks did have dinner with, it does get me intrigued, especially when he says he would be surprised if Ivar Stenberg goes number 2. Now, with that said, the question is, where does Ivar Stenberg go? Well, let's head over to the Toronto Maple Leafs subreddit and take a look at what Mark Masters tweeted out earlier yesterday as well. John Chayka is leaning on Matt Sundin for background on Ivar Stenberg, as they spent time together in Sweden. The Leafs interviewed Stenberg this week. He is a smart, competitive player, had an amazing World Championships, really high-quality person, high-quality player. Yeah, I'm really fond of him. So, yeah, Toronto Maple Leafs GM, straight up going out there and saying, yeah, this is a really good player. Mats, can you come over here? Let us know what's going on. What's the deal with this Ivar Stenberg kid? Matt Sundin, of course, he's been in Sweden the entire time. I'm not necessarily saying that Sundin has spent his entire past few months scouting prospects out of the Swedish National League, but if there's anybody that probably does have a better grip on what Stenberg is as a player at this stage of his career, it's probably Matt Sundin, right? One of the Swedes that was in and around the block just kind of taking in all that information. Now, John Schaefer's like, yeah, let's get Mats in here so we can get some opinions going on Stenberg. Is there a world where Stenberg goes number 1? There are many NHL teams, supposedly, that actually think of Stenberg as a good enough player to be first overall caliber. Heck, Cam Robinson said there was at least one team that has Caleb Malhotra at number 1. But with that said, you also had yourself some other commentary from one Gavin McKenna in regards to the Toronto Maple Leafs and what the entire situation looks like from his perspective. This tweet was made by Terry Caution. McKenna said going to a Canadian market would be pretty special. The situation the Toronto Maple Leafs are in right now, it's pretty crazy that they got the first overall pick. Their team is probably going to be fighting for the playoffs next year. I'd be pretty fortunate to go there. Now, a lot of Leafs fans are going out there and saying, hey, he knows what's up. He's going into a pretty unique position compared to other bottom feeders where the Maple Leafs do have some top-end forward talent already there. The first 2-on-1 with him and Matthews is going to hit so hard. Okay, screw the rebuild. Gavin McKenna has spoken. Meanwhile, you take a look at what Leafs fans are saying about the Ivar Stenberg discussion. Stenberg will be a great player, but the Leafs need to go with McKenna. 100%. Don't test us, John. Please. He's already messing with us as fans. Don't mess this up. You can count me as someone who is very happy they are doing proper due diligence with a decision of this magnitude. And so, with all that said, the fact that Gavin McKenna is speaking so highly about potentially playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You have the Maple Leafs themselves referring to external sources from a few months ago and saying, hey, what can you tell us about Stenberg? We really got to make sure we got this decision on lock. You've got San Jose potentially going with Reed or Carson Carels at second. My question is, what does that do for the Vancouver Canucks? If you assume that San Jose is dead set on Reed or Carels, it means that the Canucks will get one of either Stenberg or McKenna available to them. And at that point, if it's Gavin McKenna available to Vancouver, I probably would say that Aquilini even would push super hard to get Gavin McKenna. Not that that's necessarily a good or a bad thing, it's just, in this case, I think it would be the right thing to do. But you could also say the same thing about Ivar Stenberg. Heck, if Gavin McKenna does go 1, and if the unlikely scenario happens of Stenberg going number 2 to San Jose, and the Vancouver Canucks have to choose between Reed or a Carels or a Malhotra, at that point, I would honestly be a lot more fine with Malhotra coming to Vancouver. If it were up to me, I'd probably choose Reed over him, but that's just because I do think that the Malhotra dynamic with the father is going to be really odd, and also, Reed probably, I'm comfortable saying, has a higher ceiling than Caleb Malhotra. But this is all smoke and mirrors if Gavin McKenna and Ivar Stenberg actually do end up slipping in the draft, right? If any of these guys are available at number 3, then the Canucks have to take him. Straight up, it's that easy. If Stenberg's there, take him. If McKenna's there, take him. The Vancouver Canucks have been vying for Gavin McKenna all season. There's a chance to get either him or a guy that was supposed to be over McKenna at the World Juniors. All you just gotta do is wait. So with that said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about all these rumors circulating the draft floor? San Jose could be really going for a D-man. Toronto might really be going for Stenberg. It all depends on which direction you decide to listen. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this. Sign on, and bye.